Hello, I'm Mark. I'm a conservation officer for the Lincolnshire Wildlife Trust, and I'd like to welcome you here to St John the Baptist in Ermine East, in the heart of Lincoln, where the Wildlife Trust has worked with the local community to create the beginnings of an urban wildflower meadow. We've lost so much of our species-rich, wildflower-rich grassland across the country. Since the 1930s, we've lost over 97% of it. And what we're trying to do here is make a start on reversing that trend. Most of our work looks after the sanctuary sites, 100 of those across the county, where wildlife really just hangs on. But instead of putting nature under a bell jar, treating it like a museum exhibit, these need to be places that are the well springs for nature's recovery, sources of seed for new habitat to be created. That's exactly what we've done here. We've hand-gathered seed from some of the best meadows in the county, and that seed has been sown onto the ground you can see here that's been prepared. The seed was stored in fridges over winter because it couldn't be sown until spring. We still had work to do to prepare the ground. But volunteers here helped in October to clear the turfs, and then we did a little more weeding just before we sowed in March. Now, the first signs of germination are starting to show, and the ground is greening up, and we're looking forward to a colourful summer. Of course, it's not just about the wildflowers and about nature's recovery, but it's about connecting the wildlife to people and hopefully bringing all the benefits that come with that. So I'd love to introduce you to the Reverend Rachel, who can explain hopefully what it means to the community here.
Well, this is a wonderful project that we've become part of here, and it's all happened purely by chance. So at the beginning of the first lockdown, we had to make some difficult decisions about how we spent our money. We lost the income from our church hall, and we're quite a poor community. It's a poor parish. It's in the bottom 4% for deprivation, according to the Church Urban Fund. So we had to make some really big decisions very quickly, and we decided to stop paying to cut the grass. We didn't think that would cause any harm to anybody, so we decided that would be a good saving. And so the grass grew, and it looked quite lush, and there were some daisies and some yarrow growing. And it started then to evolve into something that might be a bit of a wildlife project, a bit of rewilding. So we contacted Mark at the Lincolnshire Wildlife Trust, and he came and inspected our wild grass and decided that actually it was the wrong sort of grass and the flowers weren't very exciting. But what that did was it got our imagination flowing, and we realised that there was a potential here for developing an urban wildflower meadow. And because this is the church dedicated to St John the Baptist, it seemed even more appropriate because St John the Baptist preached in the wilderness. There are numerous accounts of people encountering God in wild spaces. So why not create a wild churchyard where people might encounter something of the wonder and mystery of God's beautiful creation? So with the help of Mark and a team of very willing volunteers, we've begun this really exciting project, and we look forward to its rolling out in the future. It's something very positive that's come out of something that's been a real crisis in lots of people's lives in Lincolnshire. So we're very optimistic that this is going to be a sign of real renewal and growth, and something very positive to come out of the pandemic.
And I have to say, from the perspective of conservation, it's especially exciting to work with the Church of England because we feel that the Church of England represents a network of places and people who cherish those places. So there's every opportunity to encourage a sense of stewardship and continuity of the right sort of management these spaces need to bring the best of the wildlife out of them. What we found is that reaching out to rural communities is a great way to rekindle the wildlife that's already there, but perhaps mown too frequently. But here, in an inner urban context, we feel that we can really benefit both wildlife and people. After all, it's not just about the wildlife. The flowers will be very colourful and they'll brighten up the area, and it's more about the ecology that the wildflowers will support. After all, it might mean that there's a blackbird song you hear through your bedroom window that wakes you up in the morning. It might be the butterfly that crosses your path that your little one sees on the way to school. It could be the fizz of grasshoppers you hear when you're exercising your dog or enjoying a picnic in your local green space. So we're hoping that wildlife will bring a quality of life to people who live close to it, and hopefully somewhere like this will be a positive case study to prove what's possible, that we can rekindle nature from its sputtering embers, and that this very place could become a hub, a source of wildflower seed for more to come hereabouts. Thank you.